Welcome to the info session for prenatal certification. I'm going to also talk about training and I'm going to talk about teaching. So I'm even going to give you some of my favorite essential principles for prenatal yoga. And here's our itinerary. First, why is it so important that, well, I believe every yoga teacher and birth practitioner should have these tools to support pregnant women and new moms. What is my yoga? What makes it unique? And what is the training and certification program like? What are the teaching opportunities after? What would be your investment and discounts, as well as a scholarship? And I'll take questions, I'll answer FAQs for those of you who are not here. Hopefully I'll get to yours. If not, feel free to reach out. And then next steps. Okay, so this is, a bunch of statistics that I just think are really important for us to recognize because we are in a crisis of less for pregnancy and postpartum. 45% of new moms report that their birth was traumatic. And this is almost half for an incredibly natural and potentially beautiful experience. That's, really sad. 3% increase in infant mortality over the past 10 years, and maternal death rate doubled from 2018 to 2021. That did include COVID, but it's definitely not going in the right direction. 1 in 7 women experience postpartum depression. And actually, postpartum depression is a misnomer. It starts more often than not during pregnancy. Stress and anxiety are beginning to surpass postpartum depression as the most common negative mental emotional experience. Around this time, Black women are 27% more likely to experience severe pregnancy complications and 2 to 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes. The rates of depression in inner cities for pregnancy and postpartum are double the rates for middle-class populations. And I think what's kind of interesting about this is that science will say that we don't know the answer, like we don't know why. We can account for all the things, education level, access to healthcare, economic status, and still there is this inequity. I have a belief that we already know, that we know, and studies are starting to show that racism and sexism related stress is common and is actually feeding these negative birth outcomes. We know that stress is the #1 risk factor for negative birth outcomes. And obviously, we know that yoga and meditation and social support reduce stress. So I think we have the answer already. Research says that yoga reduces depression, reduces cortisol, indicated for pregnant women, is safe, reduces the risk of low birth weight, and of course the social support that you really can't separate out from the yoga, like, especially in a prenatal class where we start with the check-in and everybody shares and gets to know each other. That they both together have been shown to be effective in reducing prenatal depression and postpartum depression. All right, so what is the opportunity pregnancy brings? So in a lot of prenatal trainings, you may get a lot of do's and don'ts lists, a lot of maybe some videos on, how to adjust poses and stuff. And you will get that in this training. But for me, it grew from when I fell in love with teaching prenatal yoga, which was somewhere around 2010, I mean, I was teaching in 2006. I think it was a little bit later that I really fell in love, that I really kind of figured out, oh, it's not just, fear and anxiety that we might hurt baby and trying to avoid that. It's that this is this incredibly rare experience in life where we are suddenly thrown into that place where we recognize we're not in charge the way that often a diagnosis will do, unfortunately, right? Suddenly we are clearly part of something so much bigger than ourselves and our will, right? And yet it's a beautiful time. And it's a time that we can feel a part of co-creation, right? And what yoga tells us is that this force that creates life within us, that is life, prana, right? Life force, has these three components to it: power, wisdom, and nurturing energy. And in some ways, like, that's the opportunity, is that when we slow down, when we start to listen in, when we make these choices to nurture ourselves, we open the door to our power and our wisdom within. So to me, that's really the opportunity. And we as prenatal yoga teachers are kind of standing at the door, just saying, welcome. The syllable ma, so I created Ma Yoga in 2009. The syllable ma means mother in just about every language. And I was at this conference with the Hugging Saint, Amma, and waited 6 hours for a hug from her, which was actually, believe it or not, really worth it. It was the most incredible hug I've ever received. And in my ear, she said very quietly, "Mom, mom, 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 mom." So it was very validating. I was like, yes, this is this is my path, because it is nurturing energy. And yet in Sanskrit, it also has this meaning of the highest and most powerful and wise. Like Ma Kali, you see her here, blue face, sticking her tongue out. She's not pretty, but she's our mom, is their phrase. Everything she does is out of love. And that when we step into nurturing energy, when we learn to mother ourselves, which so many pregnant women are kind of doing for the first time, they have this new motivation. There's a baby growing within them. They know that if they take care of themselves, they're taking care of baby. So it's like, wow, okay, let's use this time to give these beautiful nurturing practices and just the tools, right, of yoga to people. And when we do, they begin to embody that highest, most powerful and wise Ma self. So Ma Yoga, I'm kind of an alignment geek. I had my master's in kinesiology, and I was searching for like the answer to this big question that I had, which was, why does yoga sometimes heal and why does it sometimes hurt? The same pose we can be in hurts our back versus heals it. So over the years, I studied a form of yoga called Anusara, became certified, and adapted it for pregnant mamas. And it's the idea of alignment, which is what's happening inside the pose. So for instance, right now I'm sitting, I don't know if you can see, but my knees are up, my back is rounded. My lower back is not in its natural curve. And I'm not paying much attention, except over the years I've been doing alignment-based yoga so much that I'm naturally drawing inward with my lower back to kind of find that natural curve so that I don't get up in pain. And this is just a little shift that somebody can make no matter what pose they're in so that they feel better. And pregnancy definitely takes us out of our optimal alignment. So having an understanding of what direction our thighs want to go in, our shoulder blades, our breath, where we need space for baby's head, all of the things inside is really important for pregnancy. And these these shifts, they work biomechanically, but they also work emotionally on these levels: emotional, mental, energetic, and spiritual. So emotionally, mentally, even just providing a focus, like here's your breath. Here, let's talk about your pelvis. There's they're off, not on all the worries, and they're more present. But it's also just really a recognition of the intelligence in ourselves. And there's something so inspiring, I think, and calming, comforting for pregnant women to know that they can't really mess nature up. It's like a waterfall. You can't change her direction. Energetic shifts, the direction of energy flowing, and spiritual shifts. This is all part of learning alignment. Every pose is an opportunity to align. So it's not just warrior two, but it's sitting and standing and driving, and it's not just aligning like good posture, but it's aligning with our greatest possibilities. In order to do this, my yoga is founded, is kind of based in the 5 natural elements, and yeah, this word should be prenatally. They help us make space for baby, create a strong container for baby, do a divine dance with baby, so releasing the groins, opening up the back of the pelvis, ground our power, right? Standing strong in the mother that we're becoming, and offering our gifts to the world, whether that's putting baby out there or offering our love to baby, trusting what's moving through us as a mom. And so how do you learn this alignment? Well, we have 4 different 3-week trainings. All of them are based in the 5 natural elements. And so we're going to learn them in the yoga of pregnancy, which is our prenatal training. We're going to always learn them on all of the levels, right? The physical and the mental, emotional, and the spiritual, but we're going to focus more on this spiritual journey of pregnancy. We're going to break down the trimesters. We're going to learn how to adjust regular poses. We're going to create sequences and themes for prenatal, but we're always going to bring it back to sort of what can this journey be for our mamas? How can they walk away from our class feeling inspired rather than anxious? In the yoga of healing, we're going to focus more on the biomechanics of it all. So we're going to talk about regular aches and pains, wrist pain, back pain, knee pain, and we're going to learn specific actions that we can do within any pose to relieve that pain right away. I never wanted to be the kind of teacher that would be like, oh, you have pain, don't do that pose, or try to breathe through it, right? I always felt like this is our body telling us there's a misalignment. So how can we use the pose to help somebody out of pain, and then over time to change that pattern? And why is this so important for pregnancy? Well, pregnancy hormones create a lot of instability, and things are moving around, muscles, bones, babies pushing organs out of the way. So creating a stability, understanding what direction we need to move our muscles is even more important for pregnancy. But these principles that you'll learn are not unique to pregnancy. They actually apply to everybody. It's just that we really need to know them because our pregnant mamas are going to come out of down dog and go, oh, that hurt my wrist, whereas a regular person might not. So we'll also talk a lot in the yoga of healing about postpartum recovery and how to support our new moms. My Ayurveda is my take on Ayurveda. So Ayurveda is about 5,000 years old. I studied it for a year when I was postpartum, and thing is wobbly, so and I learned so much. I was having trouble healing. I really kind of realized I didn't know how to take care of myself. I could go to yoga classes, but I couldn't because I had this baby, and I'm in Los Angeles, and it takes a while in traffic, and it just didn't work. I was far from my my mom friends that I had made in my prenatal classes. And I just was very isolated and depleted, and waking up every 3 hours to feed my baby. And so I went back to Ayurveda, thinking maybe that I could learn some tips for how to get my energy back, just get myself back. It was a year-long MP3 only audio program, and it was just mind-boggling. My mouth was just on the floor the whole time. And I loved it so much, I did it again. And then I I honed down what I feel are just the essential self-care, daily rhythm, and food as medicine practices that we all need to know. Busy nurturers of people and projects. So we will apply what we know to pregnancy and postpartum, but it's also a really fun exploration for all of us into, things like spice water and coconut oil massage. Then the yoga of birth is the only one not taught by me. It's taught by two doulas, Rachel and Melanie, who have been teaching with my yoga for over a decade and have been at hundreds of births as doulas, birth doulas, and then postpartum doulas. So they will take you through um, the phases of labor, talking about all the pros and cons of all the choices mama has, and then providing the meditations and mudras and mantras for and movement for every step of the way. There's also a mentorship. So after the yoga pregnancy and the yoga of healing, you're pretty much ready to teach, because the rest kind of, well, it just kind of makes you more of an expert in the whole field of women's wellness. And but these two courses are really what you'll want to do. And so if you're not interested in getting certified, I would just recommend the yoga of pregnancy. If you do want a little bit more like the therapeutics, I would recommend those two. And then if you only want what you need to teach, that would be it. So the mom mentorship happens after those two, when you're ready to teach, but you have so much information, you haven't quite integrated it, you're not sure what to do with it all. That's when we hook you up with a senior my yoga teacher who helps you clarify, helps you prepare your first class. You record it, she'll give you feedback, you do it again. And then the other homework you have is after the yoga pregnancy, you'll visit 6 prenatal classes and do write-ups. And this way you'll really see all these principles and practices in action. You'll feel them in your body, and then you'll have them in your back pocket so that you can teach, anytime. You can do the training live or self-paced. So if you want to do it live, if you can do it live, I recommend it. It's a lot easier. You're in like this nice current of, motivating energy, and you have this group that you're with, and there's a conversation happening. So it's everything about it is easier. We get to know each other. You can ask questions as you go. I support you. I think about you. You guys pop into my head when I'm in the shower, and I'm like, oh, this is what I forgot. I need to tell them. So, that is a really wonderful way to do it. That doesn't mean you have to show up live every time. So if you miss any sessions, you can, you'll get the email that evening, and you can watch the video over the next few days and be all caught up by next time. If you're more of a self-paced kind of person, you're just busy, you're motivated, you'll make it happen on your own. Then you'll just watch the videos for each. There's a short, super easy quiz at the end of each, and that is how you get credit for each session. So there's 4 trainings. Each one has 6 sessions, so that's 24 total. You need to come live for a minimum of 6. And so you can either pick one of the trainings to do live or just sprinkle them throughout. And that way we'll have a chance to, connect. After your mentorship, you can apply to teach with us on our online platform. We have a full schedule, and We don't get a ton of mamas, but you know, if you hop onto the schedule, you can use it to practice, and then, you know, ooh, a mama has joined me, and then you can share with her. So we try to keep it very chill, nothing to be stressed about, and that way you move into teaching very naturally and easily. It is paid, you get 80% of everything that comes in. And Yoga Alliance requires 30 hours of teaching, so that helps you get to your 30 hours. Your certification program comes with 6 months free mom membership. So our membership is access to over 400 My Yoga Anytime videos. I offer a Saturday alignment therapy drop-in, and that's free. So basically you come and you're like, oh, my back isn't feeling so good. So I give you a 5 to 10 minute therapeutic practice for your back. I also send you the video, off you go. You get 20% off of the live classes and self-paced programs and all sorts of resources. So we also had about 20 different experts come and teach master classes, so you get access to those. All right. Oh, these are the master classes. So they're not webinars. They're very, very high level teachings from people who have dedicated their lives to this one topic. So it's really, really special to hear these. All right. Anyway, your investment. Okay, so if you were to pay as you go, which I do not recommend, but it adds up to $1,800. I only don't recommend it because it's the most expensive way. However, if you feel like I just only want to take one, and you take one and then you're like, I want to take more, there are discounts along the way that you can get. So reach out to me. However, it's the cheapest way to do it is to pay upfront, and it's $12.97. So that includes all 4 trainings, the mom mentorship, and 6 months of mom membership. If you want to do a payment plan, it's still a substantial discount. You pay only $357, and then 3 more payments of $357. So that equals $1,428. And of course, because you're here, or if you're just listening to this, if you sign up within 24 hours, you can save $150 off the total if you pay up front. So that's, yeah, so that goes down to 13, 12, 11, 47. And the discount code is CERT150. We also have a couple scholarships, and this is for people who have a plan, or at least an idea of how you can create what we call a Ma Circle in a neighborhood that is underserved. So we provide a lot of information, education, coaching as you're looking for that perfect location. And we help you partner up with a business. Maybe it's a birth center, or a chiropractic office, or a toddler music studio. And they would benefit from having more people come through their door. And mostly they're closed in the evening, and a lot of pregnant women work. So you can offer your classes there, and kind of we help you make that happen. And hopefully, we're applying for grants, provide you with some financial support, but we don't have that yet. But what I will do is, if you are interested, you can apply, and you get $357 off. So it's only 3 payments instead of 4. And we have a limited amount of that, and it's first come, first serve for those who qualify. So you do have to commit to going through the trainings back to back. Obviously, we can't predict life and things happen, but to the best of your ability, to start and then keep going, so that within the year you've got your Ma Circle up and going. Okay. Oh, I think that's the last slide. So I'm going to take some questions.